What's up guys, Swish Vids here. I'm doing a top 10 video today. This is gonna be my top 10 favorite graphic novels and trade paperbacks in my collection, like the ones I personally own. There are a few books I chose to ignore just because they get a lot of attention in these kinds of videos. So let me read off that list. Batman Year 1, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, X-Men, Days of Future Past, the Wolverine miniseries, the Chris Claremont one, Superman Red Son, V for Vendetta, and Watchmen. None of those are going to be in this just because I feel like they already get enough attention. So, yeah, let's just start. And these are in no particular order. So, my first one is Batman Venom. I believe this is from like the early 90s. The story is basically about Batman accidentally letting a girl die because he wasn't strong enough. So he turns to this drug called Venom, which enhances his strength. It's kind of, I guess it's kind of like Bane and like Toxin or Venom. Yeah, this is a really dope story. I never hear anybody talk about it. He fights a shark without his shirt on later. That was kind of cool. It's just kind of like a good, good action story. Kind of with a dark tone to it, because Batman's trying to improve himself. He becomes a drug addict, as you can tell by all those pills. This next one is a little bit newer. I don't know if people talk about this a lot. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. This is Identity Crisis from like 2010, I think. Spoilers, I guess. It's about like all these superheroes, or like these people related to superheroes dying, and everybody thinks it's like a criminal, but it turns out to be the Atom's wife. It was really cool. It was a cool event story. I really didn't see the mystery coming. I thought it was going to be like Captain Boomerang or something. It was a really cool book. I really recommend it. The art's great too. Here's another older one. This is Justice League: A New Beginning. I think I mentioned it before. This is like my absolute favorite series. This is like the first 4 issues about this new Justice League team coming together. You know, you got Blue Beetle, Gardner, Dr. Fate, Miracle, Black Canary, Shazam. Some of these characters are only in it for a while. But yeah, it's a pretty funny story. Nothing too serious. It's pretty lighthearted. But it's like a cool origin story for this new team. Or new, back in the 80s. Here's another Batman one. This is Batman Shadow of the Bat by Alan Grant. I think this is my absolute favorite Batman book of all time. I don't really know. This is a newer... these books are from the 80s, I think. This is a newer reprint. I love this book so much. It's just these really cool, like, kind of mini-series about just Batman hunting down random criminals. I love the art so much. I think this is the coolest Batman ever. You got Nightwing. It's been a while since I've read this one, but I just remember loving it. I think there's this one about... It's just a bunch of different stories. You guys should really check this out. I think they're up to Volume 3. I think Volume 3 came out this year. You should check out the series. Volume 2 isn't as good. Volume 1 is definitely the best, but really great Batman. Here's a Marvel one. I think this is the first Marvel one I have. This is kind of a rough copy. I had it for, a few years. This is X-Men Extinction Agenda. It's this cool story about like all the X-Men teams coming together. I think they're in Genosha, fighting this villain. I'm blanking on his name. This really creepy, like, I don't know, kind of like cyborg villain. I remember being kind of creeped out. But it has like literally every X-Men character. It's just a cool, I don't know, like 10-part series. This one gets a lot of attention, I think, but it's a dope book. I love the art. It's Jim Lee, Chris Claremont. It's awesome. I got this book pretty recently, Captain America Reborn. I was never really a big Captain America fan until this book. This takes place after the death of Captain America, which was a little bit after Civil War, I think. It's kind of about, like, Captain America gets lost in time, so he has to go back to World War II, and he's reliving all these like awful memories. The Red Skull is kind of behind it. All these let me see if I can find a good panel. All these superheroes are coming together to try to get Cap back from the past. You figure out who really killed Captain America. And at the end, you know, Captain America comes back. He's teaming up with Bucky. I don't know, it was just kind of a cool story. It made me a fan of Captain America, honestly. I hadn't read a lot of his stuff before this. So here's another DC one. This is Grant Morrison's and Mark Millar's The Flash, The Human Race. There were like two major stories. One of them was this kind of, it was weird, but I really liked it. He has like this imaginary friend. Forget his name, but it turns out he's like an alien from a different dimension, and like these like collectors are making them race each other. So Wally is like racing his imaginary friend to save humanity. And then the other story is it's about, God, I'm blanking on her name, Wally's girlfriend dying, and I don't know, I thought that was pretty, it was a pretty emotional story. This is the best Flash book I have. Wally West is really cool. You got Impulse in there, and what's his name, like Mercury. It was a cool, just kind of basic Flash story. I like it a lot. I think this is my last Marvel book, Spider-Man: The Cosmic Adventures. This was kind of a rough copy too that I own, but it's about Spider-Man getting these like cosmic powers. I'm blanking on the guy that gives it to him, but he becomes basically like, you know, basically kind of like a Superman. He gets new powers. I don't know, I really like this era of Spider-Man, this 80s, early 90s. I think this might be Todd McFarlane. This is a pretty cool trade paperback. I'm sure it's probably out of print. I haven't really heard anything about this particular story. I don't know if it's popular or not, but I really liked it. So I think we're down to two more. This is The Return of Superman. So obviously this is like after the death of Superman. And I just like this one because you get like, well, number one, it's like huge. It's a huge trade. But you get like 4 different Superman stories. You get Cyborg, Superman, you get Steel, you get the Eradicator, and you get Superboy, like the clone Superboy. And then the real Superman comes back. It's just kind of like a cool little saga about like the world without Superman and about all these imposters taking over his place. You got cool art. I love it. I know a lot of people make fun of him. I love Cyborg Superman. I think he's really cool looking. I don't know why. He's kind of generic, but yeah, so that's that. And finally, I think this is the newest book I own. This is The Flash, Batman The Flash, The Button. You've got a holographic cover. This book, my only big problem with it is it was kind of like, it teased, you know, a big Watchmen crossover, and you didn't really get a lot of it, but I guess Doomsday Clock kind of made up for that, or is making up for that. So yeah, this is just like, the Batman and Flash obviously team up. There's this awesome fight between, let me flip through it. There's this awesome fight between Batman and Reverse Flash, because Reverse Flash is trying to get the button. Reverse Flash gets killed by Dr. Manhattan. This art is great. This is some really cool art. And then, so the Flash and Batman team up. They go back to the Flashpoint universe where they meet Thomas Wayne again. And that was kind of an emotional moment between Bruce and Thomas, because obviously Bruce hasn't seen his dad in, you know, years. I don't know. I really like this book. It was just a cool action comic that you don't really get a lot of in 2017, 2018. You don't just get a lot of these like really cool, just fight heavy books with great art, with good dialogue. You know, this was emotional, Thomas saying bye to Bruce. So yeah, that's that. I really recommend it. This is like the hardback version. I'm not sure what makes it deluxe, but there's a cool holographic cover. So I think that's it. Those are my top 10 favorite graphic novels and trades. I hope you guys like this. If this gets a lot of views, I'm sure I'll make another one of these because I have a ton of books to go through. Maybe I'll do like a top 10 worst graphic novels that I own. Yeah, I'm definitely open to that. Thanks for watching, guys. Please leave a comment if you liked or didn't like it. Like or dislike it, depending on how you feel. Be sure to subscribe if you like the content, and keep watching my other videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.